I just want to say how much I appreciate Puff Daddy for doing the kinds of work that he's doing, because he doesn't have to do this. But this is part of what is important about giving back.
You know what? This is a labor of love for Jay, and as a result, he's my friend. We're here to talk about that and nothing else.
Katt Williams just went all in, spilling the names of celebrities who could be facing serious trouble once the Epstein files go public. And this isn't just rumors. He's claiming it's the real behind-the-scenes dirt that Hollywood doesn't want you to know. Some of the people he mentions are A-list stars you'd never expect, and the fallout could be explosive. Stick around, because what he's revealing could change everything you thought you knew about the industry. Katt Williams breaks his silence.
And the kids were not always enthusiastic about the food that they were being served, so they were always trying to call for pizzas. And you can't order a pizza to the White House.
Would love you to come over for pizza, bud. How was the pizza? Was it good?
Oh, what?
Did he make it himself?
Amal's pizza was better than Clooney's. They both made, everybody made a certain kind of pizza.
There's no pizza we didn't love.
Something.
Should eat pizza? I was like, well, no, I don't want to. And then, because I just didn't want to. I just didn't want to. Where did we go? We went True Kitchen.
Hold on a second.
I shouldn't promote things.
You can promote whatever you want, but I need to take a step back because you just said something crazy. What do you mean, why would you want to eat pizza?
Katt Williams was on point yet again. The guy isn't just funny, he's fearless when it comes to exposing the stuff that's happening behind the velvet ropes of Hollywood. And with the Epstein files finally out in the open, we're starting to see exactly which celebrities were playing the game right under our noses. Some of them? Fans swore they were untouchable, couldn't hurt a fly, but now the truth is coming out. Katt essentially ripped open the curtain on Hollywood when he appeared on Club Shay Shay, and based on his energy, he's not planning to slow down anytime soon. Jay-Z's name in the files. When the Epstein files dropped, you'd be surprised how many fans went into full denial mode. People just couldn't handle the idea that the stars they've loved and supported could be just as shady as some of the politicians we've been suspicious of for years. Take Jay, for example. His name pops up in the files thanks to an anonymous victim, and immediately fans were defending him. No way, they said. He was just starting out in 1996. He couldn't have been involved. But here's the thing. Being new doesn't mean you're innocent or disconnected. The victim claimed she woke up in a room with Weinstein and Jay-Z, and that Weinstein was doing things that were absolutely not okay. Push A allegedly facilitated all of it. People argue that Jay was too green in the industry to be involved, but that's missing a key point. Just because he was new doesn't mean he didn't already have connections and influence. In fact, the evidence suggests Jay was moving strategically even back then. He wasn't just some random rapper. He was building relationships with the right people, including Weinstein. There are videos showing them together, and honestly, it looks like Weinstein might have been some kind of handler or mentor figure. This isn't just about rumors. It's about the way power and influence operated in Hollywood. And Katt Williams has been fearless in pointing it out, dragging the conversation into the light where everyone can see it. The Weinstein connection exposed.
In your thoughts on Donald Trump and what it means for what it means for mass incarceration.
You know what? This is a labor of love for Jay, and as a result, he's my friend. We're here to talk about that and nothing else.
Then can I ask you about mass incarceration? And do you think the movement is...
Y'all saw that, right? Go ahead, rewatch the clip and try to tell me it didn't look like Jay-Z was being managed or subtly guided by Weinstein. I mean, just pay attention to the way they interact. The positioning, the gestures, the way Jay responds. It almost looks rehearsed, like he's under someone else's direction. And honestly, that makes you look at a lot of his past appearances in a completely new light. But that's just scratching the surface. Things get even more intense when you dig into the leaked videos and photos that surfaced, showing him at some of the wildest parties you could imagine. One of these videos is too explicit for me to post here, but it's out there on Twitter for anyone who's determined to see it. In that clip, Jay-Z is in a room with another man, while two street workers perform in ways that are obviously meant to entertain them, seductive and over the top. The kind of scene that makes you pause and question how deep his connections ran back then. Then there's another set of evidence from Diddy's 29th birthday party. Photos show Jay-Z and Harvey in full view of everyone there, mingling in a way that screams networking on a very particular level. It wasn't just a casual party, it was almost like a hub for influence, power, and insider access, with every interaction carrying weight. Kanye's 2018 warning resurfaces. If that wasn't enough, a video of Kanye from 2018 resurfaced, where he called out both Jay-Z and Pusha. Watching it now, every word Kanye said still resonates. It's almost eerie how relevant it remains. It's like the past was foreshadowing all of this, and the receipts are piling up so fast you can't ignore the pattern anymore. What started as subtle hints of industry manipulation now looks like a full-on blueprint of how power and influence were exercised behind the scenes.
People like Jay-Z and Pusha T, they made their living our people, so how they gonna stand up for our people? You know what I'm saying? But we forget that because we love Jay-Z's music so much. We love Pusha's music so much, right? But you think they would ever, Beyonce had the best fit for somebody else? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You think they would ever tell the truth? No, if they told the truth, they didn't go to jail. You know what I'm saying? So you have liars.
Beyonce's shocking allegations.
I think it is highly offensive for people who are smart enough to really know what's happening. Look, y'all talk all about R. Kelly. Beyonce was on that island where they was kids. Beyonce was on island. Beyonce and the camel.
After that, they dive into this whole idea of giving her a pass. Basically, some people act like it's no big deal, like she gets a free pass to perform, tour, and continue her career as if nothing ever happened. But if you really stop and think about it, the fact that she's allegedly been linked to a place like Pedo Island should make you pause. Yet, for some reason, people are quick to dismiss it or just brush it off entirely. It's wild how selective media narratives can be. Who gets labeled a villain and who doesn't seems completely arbitrary. That's why I can't trust what the headlines say about anyone. The media has a habit of spinning the story to fit whatever villain they want to push, and it's frustratingly obvious if you look past the surface. Naomi Campbell's flight logs. Beyonce wasn't the only celebrity tied to these files. Like I said before, Katt already exposed a long list of well-known names, and now the recently released files seem to confirm much of what he was claiming. One of the names that immediately caught attention was Naomi Campbell. Naturally, people dragged her across social media for it. According to reports, she took at least 5 flights on the Lolita Express in 2001 and 2003. 2 of those flights originated in the U.S. Virgin Islands, which, as we know, is where Epstein's infamous private island was located, a place notorious for all kinds of shady activity. A couple of the other trips reportedly went to the São Paulo area in Brazil, adding another layer to the story and fueling more speculation about who was involved and what really went down.
Did you know who he was?
Yes, I knew him. I was introduced to him on my 31st birthday by my ex-boyfriend Flavio. He was always front and center at Victoria's Secret shows.
Did you suspect what he was doing?
No, and what he's done is indefensible. And when I heard of what he'd done, it sickened me to my stomach, just like everybody else.
There were several emails in the files that hinted at her, and Epstein seemingly planning how to move records into the country for his infamous parties. Some of these messages went back to discussions about her alleged involvement and how she was supposedly going to service him. On top of that, a bunch of videos of her recruiting models went viral online. According to rumors on the streets, this model recruitment was actually just a cover to bring more women into the orbit of these industry creeps. So what did she get out of it? Straight up, money. When you bring in models or people who can be easily manipulated, you get funded. That's the payoff. And yeah, people even say she owns an island. How does a supermodel own an island? Some of this seems out of a movie, but the files and patterns start to connect when you really look at it. Sure, this is heavy stuff, almost like a real-life crime scene investigation, but it shines a light on things you'd never have thought about otherwise. And when you piece it all together slowly, it starts to make a lot of sense. Bill Gates' island visits revealed. Do y'all remember when Bill Gates was asked on national television if he regretted his relationship with Epstein? And he said this.
One of the issues that's dogged you is that of your relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Do you regret the relationship that you maintained with him against Melinda's advice and wishes?
Oh, I've said that you're going way back in time. But yeah,
new audience.
I will say for the, over 100th time, yeah, I shouldn't have had dinners with him.
Epstein had a way of sexually compromising people. Is that what Melinda was warning you about?
No. I mean, no, I had dinner with him.
Now here's where things get messy. This guy sits there acting like it was just casual dinners, like nothing serious ever happened. But the actual files paint a completely different picture. The truth is, he and Epstein were apparently much closer than he lets on, and he was reportedly a frequent visitor to Epstein's private island. And it doesn't stop there. There's an email floating around from Bill Gates himself, begging Epstein for antibiotics to give to Melinda without her knowing, because apparently he had contracted an STD from Russian girls. Yeah, things were that shady. Fast forward to 2021, and Melinda finally decided she'd had enough, walking away from the marriage with over $29.6 billion. Learning the full extent of what had been going on reportedly left her absolutely heartbroken. And honestly, you can't blame her. The whole saga just shows how deep the web of secrets and lies ran behind closed doors.
It was many things, but I did not like that he'd had meetings with Jeffrey Epstein, no.
And you made that clear to him?
I made that clear to him. I also met Jeffrey Epstein exactly one time.
Did you?
Yes, because I wanted to see who this man was. And I regretted it from the second I stepped in the door. He was abhorrent. He was evil personified. I had nightmares about it afterwards.
Chris Tucker's uncomfortable denial. And then there's Chris Tucker. Yeah, his name came up too in Epstein's flight logs and documents. Apparently, he was on Epstein's private jet back in 2002. You know, the infamous jet that shuttled people back and forth to Epstein's sketchy island. Chris and his team tried to spin it, claiming he was just on a humanitarian trip to Africa, focused on AIDS awareness and charity work, alongside former President Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey. But let's be honest, nobody was buying that line. Bringing up Clinton only made things messier, especially considering the leaked photos of Clinton at Epstein's mansion. And if you've seen those pics, it's obvious the guy looked way too cozy to be completely clueless about what was going on behind closed doors. Chris was moving in the same circles during all of this, yet he wants us to believe he had zero idea. Right. Even in interviews, you could see him sweating it. He's trying desperately to play it casual, but the stuttering, the awkward pauses, the forced it's no big deal vibe, everything screams nervous energy. You can tell he's working hard to keep his story straight, but the discomfort is real, and it's impossible to ignore.
You knew Jeffrey Epstein, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. We flew Bill Clinton and a lot of different, that was a humanitarian trip to Africa. And
Yeah.
I met him on that trip because it was his plane. I didn't know who plane we was getting on, but it was a whole bunch of dignitary people. We was with a delegation. And yeah, I met him and you don't know people, what they do in their private lives. So yeah.
But tell me this, Chris. He was on this private plane. And you could tell that it was a private plane because they called it, Lolita Express?
Oh yeah, it was a private plane. Yes. Oh yes.
But wait a minute. You didn't never go to that island, did you?
No.
Another reason people weren't buying Chris Tucker's whole humanitarian trip story is that Katt Williams had already called him out way before this drama hit the headlines. Back then, everyone wrote it off, saying Katt was just jealous. But turns out, he was actually ahead of the curve. Fast forward to January 2024, when Katt appeared on Shannon Sharpe's Club Shay podcast. He didn't hold back. While talking about the possibility of a new Friday movie, he brought up Chris, pointing out that the guy wasn't the same person he used to know. In fact, Katt admitted that if he didn't know better, he'd also be fooled into thinking Chris was some kind of good guy. Ashton Kutcher's shady past. Katt didn't stop there. Once people thought he was done exposing shady celebs, he dropped even bigger tea, this time about Ashton Kutcher and Nick Cannon. With Ashton, nobody was exactly shocked. The guy has a long history of being involved with some of the sketchiest names in the industry. Beyond business, he's been accused of trying to pursue underage girls, showing up at crime scenes, allegedly funding mistreatment of humans, helping sketchy people out of jail, and showing up at nearly every Diddy party. Honestly, it seems like Ashton has rarely done anything remotely clean. Some even claimed that the anti-CT organization he founded back in 2009 was really just a front, a clever way for him and his shady associates to engage in questionable activities without drawing attention from the authorities. And it doesn't stop there. In 2023, Ashton reportedly went all out trying to help his friend Danny Masterson beat the sexual assault charges he was facing. He wrote character reference letters for the judge, painting Danny as a role model, devoted husband, and genuinely good person. He probably didn't expect the letters to leak, but once they did, the public got a closer look at what kind of lengths Ashton would go to cover for friends, and it didn't sit well. Nick Cannon speaks out. Then there's Nick Cannon. He wasn't on Epstein's island, but he's been vocal about this whole saga, and even sided with Katt Williams on many of his claims. Nick admitted that, like most people, the allegations about some billionaires seemed too wild to believe at first. But after seeing all the evidence in the files, he's not ruling anything out, even the most shocking stuff. And here's a wild part. There's speculation that Nick's habit of having so many kids with different women might be tied to some secret ritual he's keeping under wraps. Whatever the truth is, it's giving people a lot to think about. He said, "This is truly Babylon if this is the case, and so I would never speak out about it too much, because I didn't want people what the are you talking about, like, there's no way it's Pizzagate if somebody told you about the Epstein and you'd be like, man, come on now, this billionaire is really taking. And what? Because I don't want to it up. But someone that worked for him, even on the Child Protective Services side, was actually snatching those kids that were supposed to be missing kids and providing them to like that in itself, selfing ridiculous." Basically, he's saying this whole situation is straight up insane. He avoided going too deep publicly because he knew most people wouldn't believe it. Like, it sounds straight out of a conspiracy theory. Imagine being told that billionaires were involved in something so twisted that even some officials in Child Protective Services were allegedly complicit in moving kids around. That's the level of wild we're talking about, and it's hard for anyone to wrap their head around. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think about Katt Williams exposing the names of celebrities in the Epstein files? Do you think anyone on that list will actually face jail time? Or is this one of those stories that just stays in the headlines? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. I really want to see what you guys think. And before you go, don't forget to click here to check out this other messy must-watch video that dives even deeper into the chaos.